A lot of what you campaigned on was green energy and bringing wind power to Delaware. Give us a little bit of an update on sort of where that stands.
It's been a little frustrating with that as well, because the economy being what it is, the Blue Water Wind, which was bought out by NRG Energy, has missed a couple of the deadlines, and they've struggled a little bit to get the project underway. The Obama administration initially had passed legislation when the Democrats were in control of the House and the Senate that would stimulate renewable energy technologies. Now that the House Republicans are in control over in the House, they've sought to curtail that kind of investment. Now the Senate has been able to protect some of that, but some of it has gone by the wayside in some of these budget agreements. So it's been pretty frustrating. I happen to believe that it's a real opportunity for the country, and frankly, we're really missing it. And that's just not me. I mean, you have experts, economists, and technologists across the country, academics who believe, look, this is a $6 trillion or something dollar market worldwide. And it's an opportunity where new technologies are finding their way into the marketplace. It's also a tremendous opportunity for us to achieve some energy independence, which is something, again, that you ought to be able to sell on a bipartisan basis. So in terms of the wind farm, it's been frustrating that the delegation remains very committed to it, as is the governor and state officials, but we'll have to see how that goes.
I know you believe that it's time to wind things down over in Iraq and Afghanistan, and you know, in light of what happened with the tragic Chinook crash that killed all of the servicemen and women recently, do you believe that or feel that way more than ever?
I do. You know, I did attend with the delegation and with the president the dignified transfer there at Dover Air Force Base, and I'll tell you, it was just an overwhelmingly difficult experience for me. 38 caskets were transferred out of the military plane, the C-17, to what was like an ambulance and to the mortuary there at Dover Air Force Base. And the president was there, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, all the leaders of the various military divisions were there. We were sitting behind some 300 or so Navy SEALs, which many of those who were killed were from that unit. So it's a dramatic reminder of the human cost of the war in Afghanistan, the longest war in U.S. history. I happen to believe that we ought to be getting out of there faster than we are. The president has put in place, working with military leaders, an exit strategy, and they're starting to go down that road. But I just happen to believe that we've made a lot of progress in terms of decapitating al-Qaeda, and it's time to wind that down. And frankly, you know, we just can't afford it. When you talk about deficits and debt, we can't afford it in terms of treasure, and when you look at the human toll that we saw there in that dignified transfer, we can't afford it from a human perspective as well. We have a lot of problems here in the U.S. that we need to be taken care of.
Just a few weeks away now from the 10th anniversary of 9/11 and the attacks on New York City and Washington. A lot of the questions people are asking 10 years later, are we safer?
Well, I happen to believe that we're probably safer. One of the things that's been very clear, particularly after killing Osama bin Laden, and some of that, those counterterrorism attacks that we've had through the Navy SEALs and the Rangers and those special forces, is we've taken out a lot of those top leaders in Al-Qaeda that you don't hear a lot about in the media. And so effectively, we've had quite a bit of success there. Things are winding down in Iraq and Afghanistan, not as quickly as I'd like to see, but we have a lot of trouble spots in other places in the world that are dangerous. And so it is a very dangerous world that we live in, particularly with Islamic terrorists that are finding safe havens in different countries in Africa. And so we've got to be ever vigilant And I think this 10-year anniversary will be a reminder of the vulnerabilities that we have that were so evident that day when the Twin Towers were attacked.
I want to lighten it up again. You know, we've been talking about what's been going on for all the past 8 months with you in the House, and do you think you want to keep the job? I mean, I know we keep talking about re-election, but do you plan to run again next year?
I do plan to run again next year. I happen to believe that one member can make a difference. You know, you're only one of 435. The House of Representatives has been called the People's House. It really is that. I like that part about it. It really is a cross-section of America. I really enjoy serving with the other members who come from all different nationalities, backgrounds, geographic regions of the country. And I do think that you can make a difference. And I'm convinced that we need more people, more members that bring the kind of approach that I do, a more of a centrist kind of approach, a pragmatic approach, looking to solve problems and do the right thing for the country. Then we need ideologues, frankly, on either side of the political spectrum. So people like me are in short supply these days, and so I'm a member of a group called the New Democrats that tend to be moderate, pro-business, pro-growth Democrats that we are the ones that they come looking for when they finally need to get legislation passed and they can't get enough Republicans because the Tea Party supportive Republicans aren't going to vote for it, and some of the more liberal Democrats aren't going to vote for it. We're the ones that make things go. It is it's challenging for my family, but they've so far have been very supportive, and I've had an opportunity to keep in touch with my two boys who are now in high school, playing high school sports as I take the train back and forth from Washington every day.
All right, so I'm going to put my political pundit hat on for a second. Bear with me. Do you foresee a future where, say you were to get reelected next year, to a couple more terms maybe, 2016, Governor Markell, if he were to win another term in the governor's office, 2016 would be the end of his term. Do you foresee a future where you would possibly do a Carper-Castle swap with the governor? Would you be interested in running for governor?
Well, I never looked
That's a long road, I know.
That's a long way down the road, and I haven't given it 2 minutes thought. I think Governor Markell has done a tremendous job as our governor during very, very challenging times. I mean, Delaware's doing much better than most states because I know he works hand in glove with the congressional delegation on economic development. He works every day calling business leaders to make sure that they're doing well and their needs are being met here in Delaware, the businesses that are here, and attracting others to our state, and we work very well with him. And I think he'd make a great member of Congress if he decided to do that. I haven't thought. I'm right now focused on getting acclimated in the U.S. House of Representatives and learning how Washington works, which is very different than the way things work here in Delaware. So I haven't thought 2 minutes about that.
They maybe need to take some lessons in Washington from Delaware.
They really could. You know, and I talk all the time. I think people in my little Democratic Republican breakfast group and the New Democrat group that I'm part of talking about how we do things in Delaware, I think they get tired of hearing me talk that way. And they say, well, you're just a tiny little state. You can do it that way there.
All right, Congressman John Carney, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us on First. Appreciate it.
Very good to be with both of you.
In 2 weeks, we'll hear from the third member of the delegation, Senator Chris Coons.